Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lines TV. Breaking news, breaking news. Christian Pulisic has completed a £58 million move to Chelsea. He will be coming next summer. He is going to spend the remainder of the season on loan at Dortmund. And the reason why this is happening is because Dortmund don't want to lose the player. They do have a title campaign going on right now. They're 6 points ahead of Bayern Munich, so it does make quite a lot of sense. And if we actually wanted to sign him and bring him this January, he would have cost us 80 million. So £58 million is a ton of money. It really is. And on top of all of that, he has signed a 5.5-year contract. Now, Christian came out today and he made a very classy and elegant farewell message to the Dortmund fans. In that message, he was talking about the fact that he was extremely grateful that Dortmund gave him the opportunity in the first place. Of course, the guy came from a small town in Pennsylvania, so it was a big thing for Dortmund to sign the player and bring him to Germany. Christian also spoke about all the players that helped him develop over the years by taking him under their wing. He thanked the board for giving him this opportunity, and he thanked the Dortmund fans as well. And he said that he's extremely excited to join a legendary club in us. He's really excited to play in the Premier League next season, and when he comes, he's going to work very hard, and of course, he wants to be a success. Now, Marina had a few things to say herself. Of course, whenever we secure deals or sign players, she always gives a very brief statement afterwards. In it, she said that the club were happy that they signed Christian, who was one of the most sought after youngsters in Europe. She said that we feel that he has the potential to grow and become an even better player at the club. And of course, classily, she said that she hopes that Dortmund have great success towards the end of the season. And that's basically all the news in regards to the deal. Now, in the second part, here's where I give my thoughts and opinions on the deal. And of course, you guys know I've got a tiny bit of a cynical perspective on this deal. I think the main thing that really stands out for me is the fact that, not too long ago, a few years back, we signed Eden Hazard around a similar age to Christian Pulisic. Now, Christian's cost way more money compared to Hazard, nearly double the amount of money that we spent on Eden Hazard. And you have to ask yourself, is he anywhere near that same caliber of player that Eden Hazard was? No, he isn't, in my opinion. Christian is a very talented and young player, but I personally feel like he made this move to us way too soon. I feel like he really needed to have that standout season at Dortmund, which hasn't come. When you move to clubs like Chelsea, we don't wait for players to get better. We don't really give them that game time to really develop. So by signing Christian Pulisic, we're basically telling everyone that we're committed to developing this player and helping him reach another level. But the question is, how quickly can he develop to reach this new level? I'm not quite too sure. It's not as if we're signing a 20-year-old that's very complete for his age. For example, would I say that Christian is in that same bracket that Hazard and Neymar were? Definitely not. And a part of me just thinks Dortmund have Sancho. They probably thought this is the best time to cash in on Pulisic right now. We've got a prospect that's younger, that is probably going to be a better player than him. And reports are coming out that Dortmund are hoping to reinvest the sale of Christian Pulisic into Thorgan Hazard of Dortmund, so that looks like that's going to be a big thing. And in that sense then, Dortmund have signed a better, more complete player, and alongside him they have one of the most talented youngsters in Europe right now. I don't really feel like they are going to be too upset about the sale. Again, I'm sounding a bit cynical, but it just tells me we're a different club in terms of ambitions that we used to be back in the day. Of course, we're slowly getting there. We definitely are. But for me, I'm not too excited about this deal. Now, I shared the same similar energy for players like Bakayoko, Ross Barkley, and Alvaro Morata. And so far, I haven't been disproven wrong. Do I feel like Christian Pulisic could be that player in the future that's going to tear up the right-hand side for years to come? Potentially, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do target another player for that side, purely because the guy is a very young player. And let's be serious, one of the main reasons as to why his price is so high is due to other competition from other clubs, and because when you're a young player now in Europe, you come at a premium. So it's only natural that his price is going to be very inflated. But it's not as if he's that consistent goal threat just yet. It's not as if he's the main creator just yet as well. Sometimes he has that tendency of over dribbling the ball and over running with it. And is this off the ball movement really that amazing? I'm not too sure, and I have to say this because, Sarri is constantly talking about Callum Hudson-Odoi and areas in his game in which he can improve upon, and Sarri's always stressing that Callum needs to improve off the ball to become better. But I do get a bit frustrated by these one-note conversations because, let's be serious, the guy's only 18 years old. He's not supposed to be this developed and this good right now. And if you want him to overcome these obstacles and get better, you have to afford him the game time. Is it really as if Pulisic is on another level compared to Hudson-Odoi? Of course not, he isn't. Now I understand why people might feel he is, because again, it's that whole work experience thing I'm always talking about. When we were kids trying to apply for jobs in retail, they always turned us down because they said that we lacked work experience. And I kind of feel like that's how we conclude our business for young players. And I feel like it can be a bit dated. I'm sorry, but when Cristiano Ronaldo, first burst into the scene, he was a completely different player to what he is now. Now, this current Ronaldo didn't just become this player overnight. It took years of development to slowly ingrain other factors into his game for him to become this complete player. Now, I don't understand why Hudson-Odoi needs so much pressure put on him. Now, yes, of course, it's right that we understand his areas which he can improve upon. He knows that himself, but let's talk about what the player can bring. I feel like his lack of experience in other parts of this game shouldn't really take away from the fact that he's got some amazing aspects to his game. And I feel like with signing Christian Pulisic, you're taking away that spot for Hudson-Odoi. Now, I know what people are going to say, Nini. Pulisic plays on the right, Hudson-Odoi can play on the left, but for me, it's one of those examples where people don't really think about the logistics behind what they're saying. I mean, think about it like this. Number one, Hazard hasn't committed just yet. The guy will always play down that left-hand side. Now, are we saying that Hudson-Odoi will become that second fiddle player to Hazard? Potentially. And number two, there's only 11 spots in the team. Why does everyone forget that? You know, the mental gymnastics that people constantly come up with, especially when it came to the Ross Barkley signing. I remember that back in the day. Of course, theoretically, everyone was correct, but in reality, the logistics of actually using him was completely different. And by doing that, Ruben was missing out on game time. And I feel like if Hudson-Odoi does stay, this is the same thing that he's going to be facing. Now, what's stopping Callum from playing down that right-hand side and really showing what he can do? I don't really understand, and I personally felt that Sarri's explanation was a bit weak in yesterday's press conference. Of course, we all want to win as well, but it's Callum Hudson-Odoi. It's not some random English youth player. He's one of the most sought-after youngsters in the world. Bayern Munich were just quoted a 40 million fee to try and sign the player. We're not talking about some random player from Sunderland. And when you look at what he can provide, I mean, don't talk about what the player has. His runs with the ball, he's got a left foot and a right foot, that acceleration, his finishing, his speed, his close control. He makes the right decisions in the final third already. He has all the foundations to grow and become something completely amazing in the future. But now we're taking away that development to develop another player who isn't as complete anyway. And it just really baffles me in my opinion. And the number one thing that annoys me the most is that for years, we've needed someone down that right hand side that has a left foot. This is why I've always been a massive advocate for Riyad Mahrez, because that's the type of player we need. Pulisic, yes, he can use his left foot, but when he runs with the ball, when he plays, he constantly uses his right foot. And you have to think, when you don't have that left-footed player and you're playing against teams that park the bus, it makes it very hard because number one, you can't really create those shooting angles. Those passing angles become different as well. And we barely have any left-footed players in the club. And when you look at Man City and that balance they have throughout their team, this is why they're such a top club. And this is why they complement each other so well. And I feel like it's another area we aren't addressing. Is Pulisic a massive upgrade over Willian and Pedro? I don't personally think so. Of course, he's a very good player with potential, but I think that he needed to stay at Dortmund for another 2 to 3 years and consider making his move when he's 23. Not when he's 20, signing for a club that have a terrible history at developing youth players, where the club give unnecessary pressure to top young talents for what? He's a nice guy, he's a great talent, but is he really upgrading that right hand side? I definitely don't think so. And it's like, in what year will Pulisic potentially be that player we're all hoping he's going to be? Well, that's going to depend on Sarri and what happens in the future. You know, Pepe from Lille, the type of profile of player we need with his off-the-ball movement, his ability to finish and score with his left foot as well, his runs with the ball as well. I feel like if we spent 58 or 60 million on a player like this, that would be a better justification of the money spent compared to using that money on Pulisic. But anyway, I understand that I am going to sound controversial again. please, if you think that it's because he's American and I've got that stupid cliche football bias, please forget that, because I don't. But I just think this is a typical Chelsea deal where, you know, we just don't see the perspective or the irony behind it. But anyway, you guys, in the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions on the deal that we've just done. Is Pulisic the one? Am I wrong? Do you think that he is going to develop? Let me know all your thoughts below. You guys, I'm going to bounce now. Thank you for watching. I'm janauary. This is Blue Line TV. Signing out.